The silver ribbon felt cold in my hands. 25 years. A quarter of a century. The grand ballroom of the Watergate Hotel shimmered around us, filled with the faces of everyone we knew, colleagues, friends, family. My husband David stood beside me at the head table, his smile a little too sharp, his eyes a little too bright. He tapped his microphone, and the room fell silent. "Friends, family," he began, his voice oozing false warmth. "Thank you for celebrating this milestone with us. 25 years is a long time. It's a time for reflection and for truth." He turned to me, but his gaze was cold. "Lydia, these years have been an experience. But people change. I've realized I need more. I deserve a partner who reflects the man I've become, not the boy I was." A horrified murmur rippled through the crowd. My heart hammered against my ribs, but I kept my face a placid mask. I had been waiting for this. He reached into his jacket and produced a single stark white envelope. "I'm filing for divorce. I want you out of the penthouse by tomorrow. It's time for my new life to begin." He stood there, triumphant, while his mother, Constance, smiled her icy smile from the front row. He had forgotten one critical detail, a fact his mother had also chosen to ignore. The penthouse was never his. My parents bought it for me, in my name alone, years before we married. I slowly rose from my chair. The room was so quiet you could hear the ice melting in the glasses. I gently took the microphone from David's slackened hand. "Thank you, David, for that. Remarkable honesty," I said, my voice calm and clear. "You're right. It is time for the truth." I reached into my clutch and pulled out my own small folder. "You see, David has been planning this little performance for weeks. He's been having late-night calls with his mother, plotting with his lawyer, Mr. Hayes, who is, by the way, sitting right there in the back, and he's been romancing a 30-year-old woman named Bianca, whom he introduced tonight as his new assistant." The crowd erupted in gasps. David's face went from smug to ashen. "I knew about all of it," I continued, silencing them with a raised hand. "And while David was spending $45,000 of our joint money on this party to humiliate me, he made two fatal miscalculations." One held up the first document. "One, the penthouse, a gift from my parents, solely in my name, before our marriage. Legally, it is mine. You have no claim to it, David." I held up the second set of papers. "And two, 3 weeks ago I inherited my late aunt's entire estate. A condo in Munich, a luxury apartment in Miami Beach, and over $1 million in cash. So, David, when you talk about a fair division of assets, you are correct. You will get half of our weekend cabin and half the value of your car." That is all. The silence was absolute. I could see the future he had imagined, a life with Bianca in my home, funded by my money shattering behind his eyes. "So, David," I said, placing the microphone back on the table, "you are free to be with whoever you want, just not in my home." I turned and walked out of the ballroom, leaving a chaos of shouted questions and accusations in my wake. I didn't look back. The aftermath, the fallout was swift and brutal. A video of the confrontation went viral. David was fired from his high-powered job when his CEO declared he couldn't employ a man with such a shattered reputation. No other firm would touch him. Bianca, realizing her meal ticket was worthless, left him within days. David's mother, Constance, who had mortgaged her own home to fund his legal fees, was left financially ruined and furious. As for me, I moved to the sun-drenched Miami Beach apartment I now owned. I used my inheritance to open a small publishing house, finally pursuing my lifelong passion for books. I was free, financially independent, and at peace. A year later, the divorce was final. The court upheld the premarital status of my penthouse, and David was left solely responsible for the massive debts he'd hidden from me. I heard through the grapevine that he was now driving for a rideshare service, living in a small apartment with his disgraced mother. Sometimes, karma doesn't need your help, but sometimes it appreciates a good solid push. I gave him that push on our silver anniversary, and it was the most satisfying gift I have ever received.